Alright, so for this example B here, we're doing the same thing we did for A. We're trying to find the nth term of the sequence, which in this case it wants the sixth one in the sequence. I'm going to do it both ways here with the formula and then with the recursive pattern. So the formula is A sub n equals A sub 1 times r to the n minus 1. A1, the first term, is 800. So the 800 is going to go here. Times r is 1/2. So we're going to need parentheses around the r. Anytime r is a fraction or a negative, you need parentheses there. To be safe, I would always put parentheses around that number. Okay, and it wants us to find the nth term is 6. So it wants us to find the sixth term in the sequence, which means we do 6 minus 1 up here. Alright, so I'm just going to do it in the computer calculator because that one's small. I don't have to change my screen. But you can do it in the Inspire as well. So we're going to do 800 times parentheses 1/2 exponent 6 minus 1 parentheses. So parentheses 6 minus 1. And then that tells us that the sixth term is 25. Okay, so that's how we do it with the formula. But like I was saying on the previous example, you can use the recursive idea if you know how to do that. So since it wants the sixth one, we're going to do A1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So right here, the first one is 800. And this tells us what to multiply by each time. So I'm going to multiply each time by 1/2. Which when I multiply by 1/2, I'm just taking half of this number. So what's half of 800? Well, that's 400. But again, you can do that one in the calculator as well. So over here. So 800, oops, that's too much, times 1/2 is that. So now I'm going to do that one times 1/2, which half of 400, oops, 400 times 1/2 is 200. So when I multiply this one by 1/2, I get 200. Take half of that again, which is 100. Take half of that, which is 50. And half of 50 is 25. So this is the sixth term in the sequence, and that's what it's asking for over here. So whichever way you want to do it, you can go in order. So 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. You can go in order, or you can just use the formula, whichever is easiest. Now you're not going to want to do this if I ask you for the 30th term. That's just too many steps. Then you want to use the formula. But if it's like the 5th or 6th one, that's not too many. You can probably get it done quickly in this form. Okay, so then the last examples over here. Deal with a word problem, which is kind of the same thing, but it's just in a word problem format. So here, Sarah posts a joke on her social network page. 4 of her friends repost the joke on the page, and after that, 4 of each of their friends repost it, and so on and so on. So it wants how many people repost the joke in the 9th round. Okay, so you can do 9 blanks like we did before, or you can use the formula to find A9. So I'm going to use the formula here because 9 blanks is too much. But if you want, you can use the blanks and go in order. Okay, so I'm going to write the formula down again. So AN equals A1 times R to the n minus 1. So AN, we want the 9th one. and this is equal to A1 is how many there were on the first round. So on the first round of her posting the joke, it says four of her friends repost the joke. So on the first round, there's 4 people that know the joke. Times, after that, how many people do they repost? Well, after that, 4 of their friends repost. So that's going to be the R here. So R is going to be 4 as well. That's this 4. And then we want to know how many know in the 9th round. So we're going to do 9 minus 1. So again, just using the computer calculator here, I'm going to do 4 times 4 exponent, and then 9 minus 1. Enter. So it's a lot of big numbers. A lot of these are going to have some pretty big numbers. So on the homework, when you see this, just copy the whole thing down. So 262, 144. So 262,144 people know the joke.
Okay, and then these are the last 2. For sequences, both of these just want us to write an equation for the nth term. We've done this already, but then we use the equation. Here we just got to make the equation. Okay, so here's the formula. A sub n equals a sub 1 times r to the n minus 1. So we're going to leave a sub n there. So it's going to stay a sub n equals, remember what a sub 1 means? This is your first term in the sequence, which is the 0.5. We're going to do 0.5 times r is the common ratio. So we got to see what are we doing from one to the other. So the one that I can pick out is from 2 to 8. So 2 times what is 8? 2 times 4 is 8. But then just checking all the other ones. Here, if I do 0.5 times 4, I get that's 2. Times 4 is 8. Times 4 is 32. So that means that R is 4. So R is 4. So that's what we're going to plug in for this R right here. Not R. 4. And then we're going to leave n minus 1 because it's a formula that it wants. So this is an equation that will allow us to find any term in the sequence. That's all we have to do for that one. Find R and then plug them in. All right, the last one, B wants the same thing. It gives us R this time. So A sub n equals, it tells us that R is 6, but it doesn't tell us what the first term is. So I'm going to leave 6 to the n minus 1 up here. I need to find the first one. They give me the 4th one. So the easiest way to do this one is to go back. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I know the 4th one is 5, because that's 5 is A4. But I need to go back to get 3, 2, and the 1 is the one that I need. Okay, so here, if I go backwards, I'm not multiplying by 6, I'm going to divide by 6. But I'm pretty sure these end up being some pretty ugly numbers. Let me see. So back over here my calculator. So if I start at 5, and I divide that by 6. Yep, not a nice number. So I can't round in the sequence because then my constant common ratio is not going to be the same. So here, I want to leave them as fractions. So this time it will be better to use my graphing calculator. So if I have if I have 5, and I'm dividing it by 6, I'm just going to leave it as 5/6. So 5/6. So since I'm going backwards, I'm dividing by 6. So now again, divide by 6 again. So divide by 6, I get 5/36 here. And then one more time, divide it by 6, and I get 5/16. So 5/16 is what I'm going to put in for the A1. So right here, 5/216. Okay, so if they don't give you A1, you got to go find A1. So there is a way to do it algebraically, but since it wasn't that far away from one, it's easier to do it this way. If it's like, if they start you maybe like at A10, you'd probably want to do it algebraically. But I can show you how to do that one on a separate problem. All right? Well, that's it for the notes for this one. We're not going to do 8. Let's skip 8. You should be able to do all the homework ones now.